Hello everyone, this is Ubaid Tariq. I'm a PhD scholar at Department of Biological Science and Bioengineering IIT Kanpur, and I have been selected for Prime Minister's Research Fellowship in May 2021 cycle. And this lecture series I'm starting to fulfill my PMRF teaching requirements. And this lecture series will be about biomaterials and their applications. And this lecture particularly will be about the basic concepts of biomaterials. Before talking about materials, I will start with the field of biomaterial science. Biomaterial science is the physical and biological study of materials and their interaction with the biological system. Biomaterial science studies the properties and applications of materials which interact with the biological system. And these materials are called biomaterials. Biomaterial science has the close correlation with the healthcare system, as most of the biomaterials are used in the healthcare settings for the treatment of different conditions. Biomaterials have also applications in the different fields of science like biological science, veterinary science, medical science, material science, and different manufacturing fields. Currently, most of the research groups are focusing on the synthesis of the new biomaterials. Optimization and characterization of these biomaterials are also important to limit the toxicity of these materials. Some of the research groups are also studying the host material interaction to know the mechanism of these biomaterials in biological application. So are current efforts are directed towards the development of engineered materials which have the desired and specific interaction with the biological system. As I already said, biomaterials are the ones that interact with the biological system. So they have been classified into different groups on the basis of their function, origin, and nature. So on the basis of function, there are different groups. One group is the class of biomaterials that support the biological function. These are the materials which only supports the biological function. For example, in case of some biological function that is not optimum, the biological function is there but it is not optimum, it is limited. So application of biomaterials or implantation of biomaterials support the biological function and improves the biological function. Second one is the class of biomaterials that replace the biological function. These are the ones that completely replace the biological function. Biological function is fully stopped, or biological function is fully stopped. In that case, we need the materials that completely replace the biological functions. If I can give example in this, in case of heart failure or left ventricular failure, the left ventricular assist device is used, which completely replaces the function of the left ventricle and supports and supplies the blood to the whole body. And third class of biomaterials are the ones that stops the biological function. In some case, if we need to stop the biological function, these biomaterials are implanted to stop that biological function. And class of biomaterials that only give the external support. For example, in case of bone fractures, different prosthetics are used, or that supports the biological system or biological function, that gives the external support. And on the basis of origin, there are two groups, biomaterials that have the biological origin, and other class of biomaterials are those which have the synthetic origin. Biological origin which have been derived from different biological substances like plants, animals, and synthetic origin are those materials which have been synthesized. In case of biomaterials, there are some common examples like gelatin is there, different gums are there, and for example extracellular matrix is there, which are used as a biomaterial in different applications. These all have the biological origin. And synthetic origin, these are the different polymers, different ceramics, metals which have been synthesized or which have the synthetic origin, which have non-biological origin, we can say that. And on the basis of nature, there are two classes. One is the metallic, and those materials which have the metallic origin, and all the others that can be biological or synthetic which have the non-metallic origin, and they are called, and they all are in the class of non-metals. So Williams have given the definition of the biomaterials in 1987, and he said that biomaterials are the non-viable materials used in a medical devices intended to interact with the biological system. So he has mentioned the word. He has mentioned this. Wait, I will select the pen. So he has mentioned this word non-viable. So actually, biomaterials are non-viable. That means they are incapable of growing or developing independently. They are not viable. They cannot divide or they cannot. So these are the synthetic or biological materials, but they are non-viable. They cannot grow on itself. So they only support the biological tissue, but they cannot grow the biological tissue. But now some biomaterials are also there which are viable, which are made up of different cells, uh, different biomaterials, scaffolds. They are made of different cells, so they are viable nowadays. But these biomaterials, important properties of these biomaterials is that they should be biocompatible and they should have appropriate host response. Because these materials directly interact with the biological system, they should be biocompatible. If I can give examples, uh, I can give examples of different host responses they should have. For example, they should resist the blood clotting. Uh, they should not promote the blood clotting. For example, different catheters are used or hemodialysis membranes are used, but they should not improve. They should resist the blood clotting. They they should resist the bacterial colonization. For example, if I if I take the example of same this urinary catheter, it should not lead to infections. And because some of these materials will remain in the body for years. For example, the replacement knee replacement, these prosthetics or hip replacement prosthetics, they remain in the body for years. So the biocompatibility of these materials is very important. In this slide I will talk about some of the commonly used biomaterials and their application in different fields. Silicone rubber is used to make catheters and tubings. These catheters and tubings are used to insert different fluids into the body and remove different fluids. For example, urinary catheter or tubings that are inserted in the oropharyngeal canal to feed the patients which are in coma. Another material is a dacron, which is used to make vascular grafts, and these grafts are used to replace the damaged blood vessel in the body. Cellulose is used to make dialysis membranes. Polymethyl methacrylate is used to make intraocular lenses and bone cement. Polyurethane is used to make catheters and pacemaker leads because of their elastic and flexible properties. Hydrogels are used to make ophthalmological devices or drug. They are used also in case of drug delivery to deliver drugs in different parts of the body. Stainless steel. Stainless steel is used to make orthopedic devices and stents, and these orthopedic stent devices are used as a prosthetics in different conditions where they are needed. And stents are used in case of coronary artery blockade, where they can wide open this blockade of the coronary artery. Titanium, aluminum hydroxyapatite, they are used in orthopedic devices and dental devices. They are used to make different dental devices, for the dental procedures because of their properties of toughness and because they are very hard materials. And collagen, it is used in ophthalmological applications and wound dressings. Different wound dressings in the market, they are made of these collagen fibers. In this slide, I will talk about application of these biomaterials in more details, like in in each application, what type of biomaterials are used. So for the skeleton system like joint replacement or hip or knee replacement, aluminum alloys, or stainless steel or polyethylene, these materials are used. In case of bone plates for fracture fixation, in that case, stainless steel, cobalt, and chromium alloys are used. For bone cements to fill the bones or to fill the broken bones or to fill the gaps between the bones, these bone cements are used, and the materials used for this are polymethyl methacrylate. And in bone defect repair, hydroxyapatite is commonly used. Actually, this hydroxyapatite, it is a major portion of the human bone. So this hydroxyapatite materials is used to repair the bone defects also. The artificial tendons and ligaments, in that case, Teflon and Dacron is used because of their this elasticity. These materials are used to make artificial tendons and ligaments. In case of dental implants for tooth fixation, some of the materials which are very hard, for example, titanium, aluminum alloys, stainless steel, polyethylene, calcium phosphate, and these materials are used to make the dental implants for tooth fixation. In case of cardiovascular application, we need blood vessels or blood vessel prosthesis to replace the blood vessels that are damaged. uh, we need heart valves and catheters. So in case of blood vessel prosthesis, blood vessels or vascular grafts is the another name of these blood vessel prosthesis, and they are made up of Dacron, Teflon, and polyurethane. Because of their properties, they can stretch and they can stretch and they are also biocompatible. And these hot valves are made up of reprocessed tissue, for example, stainless steel and carbon. Uh, these materials are used to make heart valves, and catheters are made up of silicone rubber, Teflon, and polyurethane. Different organs, for example, artificial hearts. Different groups have tried to make artificial hearts, and they have used the polyurethane materials as a scaffold to make these artificial hearts. Skin repair template or artificial kidney. In case of skin repair template, silicone or collagen composites are used by different groups. Artificial kidney or hemodialyzer. In that case, cellulose and polyacryl nitrile is used as a material. Heart lung machine. In case of heart lung machine, silicone rubber is used. uh, Different sensors, for example, intraocular lenses or contact lenses. In that case, polymethyl methacrylate or silicone rubber or silicone acrylate are used to make these implants or to make these lenses. Most of these biomaterials are used as implants in physiological conditions, and they have been categorized into first generation, second generation, and third generation implants on the basis of their properties, on the basis of engineering behind their discovery, and on the basis of timeline when they were discovered. First generation implants are the ones which were discovered accidentally, and there was no design or engineering behind their discovery. So they were usually used by the physicians, and they used some commonly used materials, commonly available materials that were available that time. And they are also called ad hoc implants or ad hoc biomaterials. And some of the examples of these biomaterials are gold fillings, which are also used nowadays to fill the dental cavities. And the wooden teeth were also used in earlier days to replace the tooth if it was removed, if it was broken or something else. And this polymethyl methacrylate dental prosthetics, they also come in these first generation implants. And in the first generation implants, some steel plates or also steel and gold plates are also used in case of bone fractures. Physicians used to implant these steel or gold plates to support the fractures. This above is the image of the glass. glass intraocular lens that was firstly used as an intraocular lens, and it was made of glass. Second generation implants are the ones that are discovered after taking the experience from first generation implants, and they are developed through the collaboration of physicians and engineers. The role of engineers were to design and engineer the implant for the specific or proper function. So these engineered implants are made from the commonly used materials, and most of the materials in these second generation implants were the metals. Second generation implants include, for example, some examples are, for example, titanium alloy is used in case of dental and orthopedic implants because of it is hardness, and it is very hard material. Cobalt, chromium, and molybdenum alloy is also used in case of orthopedic implants to replace different joints or hip fractures, to replace that. And also ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. This ultra high molecular weight polyethylene is used to cover the surfaces of these metals in case of hip replacement or joint replacement. And second generation implants are also include heart valves or pacemakers, which are used in cardiovascular conditions. Which I will talk about these heart valves pacemakers in the coming slides. Now talking about third generation implants, these are the implants which are made up of bioengineered materials. If we talk about first generation and second generation implants, that are made up of biomaterials that are commonly available, and there was no engineering or there was no design in the materials. But in case of third generation implants, there is firstly the engineers are firstly the materials are engineered for a specific application, and after the engineering of materials, then the second step comes is the engineering of the device. So there is a double engineering in making these third generation implants. So these implants in these implants, some of the materials have been modified which are already available, and some new materials have been also designed for different applications. So some of the third generation implants are in market, and but most of them are under development. These tissue engineered implants, they are designed to regrow rather than replace the tissues. If we talk about first and second generation, they usually replace the tissue, or they replace the function, but they are designed to regrow. If I give example of these bone implant, for example, when the bone there is a damage in the bone, or there is a bone fracture, so this bone cement is implanted at the bone fracture site, and this bone cement, it is made of hydroxyapatite and tricalcium phosphate. And this bone cement, it contains the different cells, bone marrow, stem cells, or different types of cells, which helps to regrow this defect. And after some time, this bone cement it degrades, and the cells the cells in this damaged portion, in this portion of the bone, the cells will grow and the bone completely heals. And another example is the artificial skin. Integral Life Science has made the artificial skin that is used to, in case of burns, or in case of some accidents where the skin is removed, that artificial skin is implanted, and that is a viable skin, or that is a viable tissue that regrows, and that completely restores the function of original skin. Another example is the cardiac patch. A cardiac patch is the implant. It's a patch-like structure, a scaffold-like structure made up of different materials. It contains the stem cells or different bioactive molecules. These stem cells are bioactive molecules. With the help of paracrine effect, or with the help of paracrine effect of these stem cells, the damaged or ischemic heart uh, is recovered by the effect of these stem cells. So these third generation implants have also the biological effect uh, apart from the scaffolding or replacing the function, they also have a biological effect. Now talking about some of the important discoveries using biomaterials and some of the important applications of biomaterials is the development of heart valves. And in India, we have also developed a heart valve named Chitra heart valve. This was developed in the research institute named SCTIMS, which is located in Trivandrum. And this was developed after 15 years of research, and it was after development it was sold to TTK Pharma for commercial exploitation. This heart valve is needed for the replacement of the heart valve in the patients with rheumatic heart failure, or if there is a leak, if the heart valve is not functioning properly, which leads to the leaking of the aortal passage in the heart. So this heart valve contains three components: frame, which is made of the alloy, and the disc, which is made of this disc, which is made of ultra high molecular weight polyethylene, and the swing ring, which is also made of polyethylene or polyester fabrics. So this TTK Pharma is only third company in the world which makes heart valves, and because of making it in India and making India initiative, and this the heart valve price was $350 or 20,000 rupees, which is one third of the prices of the heart valves which were earlier imported from other countries. So actually, this when the normal heart pumps, it beats 70 to 80 times in a minute, and in a day, these heart valve flutters 1,15,000 times in a day. So the material should be highly durable, and it should bear this wear and fatigue resistance. So in that is why this ultra high molecular weight polyethylene is used to make the disc of the this heart valve. And this ultra high molecular weight material, it has a ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. It has an advantage that it has a high durability, and it has a long stress resistance, wear resistance, and it has a blood and tissue compatibility. It's the fatigue resistance and tissue resistance. That is a high. It is a highly desirable material for the development of these heart valves. Another important gift which biomaterial science has given to the humankind is the left ventricular assist device. Left ventricular assist device is a pneumatic pump which supplies blood from the left ventricular to the aorta, and thus to the whole body. So this is made up of biomaterials, which are mostly metals, which are blood compatible and biocompatible, and they also resist the clot formation. They should be hematocompatible. So in case of heart failure, the left ventricular fails to pump properly, and thus there is a less left ventricular output. There is a left ventricular output, so the function is compromised. So for the patient to survive, the heart transplantation is needed, but it is very difficult to find the donor heart for the transplantation. So until the transplantation, this left ventricular assist device can rarely replace the function of the left ventricle. It is attached from the left ventricular, and through this pump, it supplies blood directly to the aorta and to the whole body. And this pump is battery operated, and there is also the control unit outside of the body, and which helps it to pump the blood from the left ventricular to the aorta. And it has been found that there are some patients in which this left ventricular assist device was implanted, and it was functioning properly after the 4 years. There is an example in the clinics where it has been implanted for up to 4 years in case of patients. So this was all about the introduction and basic concepts of biomaterials. Now onwards, in coming lecture series, we will talk about different types of biomaterials in detail, and their physical and chemical properties, their surface properties, we will cover in the next lectures. Thank you for listening and your attention.